All right. Good Sunday afternoon, everybody. It's not Saturday night, despite what Ray says. Despite what Ray says. Glad everybody could join me. Thank you for bearing with us as we sometimes have to shift around the times that we come on. My goal is to keep it somewhat, what do you call it, consistent, but I'm not sure. Sometimes life gets in the way. We had a last minute birthday celebration for three people on my wife's side of the family. And we went out for a seafood boil. Hey, Bobby Hall, Rock Island Molitor extraordinaire. So we went out for a seafood boil last night at this place called Uncle Louie's. And it seems to be a chain, but I tell you what, it was really, really good. A lot better than I remember Joe's Crab Shack ever being. So it was pretty good. So we had a good time. Kind of glad we went. It was very much last minute, so we had to kind of shift things around. But like I said, life gets in the way sometimes. I hope you guys don't mind. For anybody who can't watch the live, it's always available later on, as you know. You can watch it as a replay. So give me a second, guys. I'm going to try something with the audio, and I'm going to need some little bit of feedback. I am going to put my earbuds in and let them connect to the phone and see what happens. All right, so give me 1 second. Let me just do this real quick. All right, let's see. I'm not even sure if it's gonna. I don't see it connecting. Let's see. Oh, no. Yeah, I don't know if this is gonna work. So let me save this for another time to experiment with. We'll just go the way we always go, with straight off the mic, off the iPhone here. So anyway, so again, thank you very much for joining me on a Sunday afternoon. YouTube didn't start the live automatically. I don't think it usually does. I have to push the live button when I go live. So I know it was maybe, 30 seconds late. So, but yeah, I had to push the live button myself. So anyway, so we are going to continue on with Paul Cassar's Allagash Boxcar. Paul said he was going to be on this today, but I do realize it's 6 o'clock in the morning in Sydney. So I'm not sure if he's up yet. If he doesn't catch it, he'll definitely, oh, you had to refresh your browser. Okay. He'll definitely watch it later on. So hopefully he said he likes what's going on so far with the car. So let's take a look at the car real quick. If you remember, what else does he have to do? He's retired. Yeah. So you know me, I'm retired. I don't get up early anymore. I think today I got up about 10:30, which is kind of early for a Sunday, but you know. So anyway, I got let's take a look what we did last week. Last week we did the initial fading with the oil brushers. If you remember, we visited our trusty old color wheel, and we had determined the colors to do the fade. And you gonna call them up? Yeah, give them a call. Yeah, say wakey wakey. So we had a nice fade and a little bit of grime built up just with the amount of paint that was used to do the fade. A little off coloring on the ends there. All the way around the car. All right. So what's left to do today is we're going to do, hey, Paul's there. Good morning, Paul. I see you got up very early. Appreciate you getting up early Sydney time there. I actually consulted my world clock. I wanted to see what time it was going to be when we go on, and I saw it was going to be 6 o'clock in the morning. So if you're an early riser, I guess that's good. But if you're like me and you're a late riser, thank you for making the effort. All right, so what we're going to continue on today is we need to get the grime done on this, and I'm thinking about doing some rust, if Paul's okay with that, and I think he said he was. So 6 a.m. All right. Up at the crack of dawn with the roosters and the kangaroos. Yep. All right, so let's talk about what we're going to do. So I got a lineup of stuff over here in the back of some of the stuff that we're going to be using. Some of it's already set up in dishes, like my Russian earth for the road grime, my rust colors for some of the rusting that we're going to do. I have out my old rust, which is what I use on the wheels. We're going to be using it on the wheels today. I have this chipping rust, and we're going to be doing a little bit of chipping with a fine brush. We have our brown for German dark yellow vehicles, and this is a yellow car. That's what I like to use on yellows and oranges. We have our medium rust pigment, which is in the plate as you saw. We have our, where's the other one? Track rust pigment, which is the darker rust that you saw on the tray there. Pigment Fixer. All right, so we need that to fix some of the rust pigments onto the car. We obviously have our Kursk soil for the truck. Let's see what else we have here. And I might try this streaking rust effects. All right. This is a paint, and we probably would have to thin it down, or possibly you could use something like this and do some dots on the car and then use thinner to streak it down. So we might experiment with that too. Some of the things I'm thinking about doing is not too heavy on the rusting, but maybe some chipping, especially in the corners and up along the top there, around the door where it gets a lot of wear. Definitely something on the roof. So I'll probably apply some of the rust wash up there and go light with that, and maybe a little bit of the pigments up there. Or we might try, and what I was trying to do is maybe using the rust chipping effect and using that for the rust buildup on the roof. We're going to decide that as we go along. All right. Being that it's Sunday afternoon, and I know it's after 12, so it's always noon someplace, and normally I have a beer on Saturday nights, but I'm going with coffee because I didn't get up too long ago, so I'm going with coffee today. So cheers. If you're gonna have a beer, you have a beer. I'm having some coffee, Dunkin' Donuts coffee today. So cheers, guys. All right, let's see who's here. Bring up my computer and just take a look real quick. Who's online here? We have 8 people watching. My friend Bobby Hall. Thank you, Bobby. You rusted it. Okay, we'll definitely do the rush chipping then, Paul. All right. Obviously, Paul is here, bright and early from Sydney, Australia. Ray is here. And who else? We got Chicago, Denver, Northern. If you want to just shoot me your first name, I'll refer to you as your first name if you don't want me to keep repeating out the long name there. Got my buddy Steve. Alex. All right, Alex. I'll try to remember that. Awesome. So Alex, Steve, Ray, Paul, Bobby Hall, my buddy Bobby Hall. Bobby's a big Rock Island fan, and he's kind of wearing on me a little bit. I like some of the stuff he shares with me. But he always accuses me of trying to spend his money, because every time I see something Rock Island, I send it to him. Try to get to spend his money. So it's always a joke. So, all right. So that's what we got so far. So let's get started. Excuse me. What I want to do is I want to start with some of the grime first. All right, and then we'll go to the rust. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna add some of the rain streaks and stuff. That's why you're broke. Don't blame me. I keep sending you stuff, Bobby, to buy, and you won't buy it. I got that already. It's not my era, blah, blah, blah. I don't like blue. Hey, Bob, how are you? Thanks for joining. My buddy Bob Stetzer there, fellow Penn Central fan. So we're going to go with the with the dark brown for dark yellow vehicles to give it a little bit of a grime wash along there. Then we'll do our pigment along the bottom as far as the dust. And then we'll go back and start doing some rust effects. All right, so let's get started with this. I haven't bought anything in the past weeks. I really don't have nothing to show and tell you guys. So we'll just move right on. So got my paper towel, got my brushes. I would definitely have to take out one of my fine brushes. Let me get that real quick. And one exception to using cheap brushes, I do have my good brushes here because when I'm doing the chipping, I want a very fine brush. And I don't have a cheap brush, that's fine. And a cheap brush that is fine tip. So let me just take these out real quick. There's a couple different ways you could do chipping. I'm going to be using a sponge for larger areas and then the fine tip. All right, let's see, we want a 0 or a 00. So what we got here? There's a 0. See, do I have anything finer than a 0? No, it's 2. What do we got here? This one is a 40. No, we don't want that. Yeah, so we're going to go with the 0. Here it is. No, oh, what's this one? 0. There we go. Yeah, we're going to go with this one here. And that one I definitely got to make sure I clean really good because these are sable brushes. And if you're using sable brushes for anything, you definitely have to take care of them if you want them to last. You know, the other brushes, the ones that are going to get messed up all the time, like that's the Dollar Tree brushes. You know, use them a few times and I toss them out and buy another pack for $1.25 now. It's not Dollar Tree anymore, it's a $1.25 tree, but that's okay. You know, it's still cheap. All right, so put that back up there. Okay. All right, so let's put this over here. Keep that separate from the other ones. Get our droppers. All right, so we're going to start with like I said, we're going to start with the brown for yellow vehicles. Let's give that a little shake. We are 2 weeks away from the Amherst show. I am so much looking forward to that. I missed it last year because of my granddaughter being born. But I'm definitely going to be up there Friday and Saturday. And hopefully I see you guys up there. Sunday, I got to leave very early in the morning, get back for my little granddaughter's first birthday. So I won't be up there Sunday, but I'll definitely be up there all day Saturday. I'll leave early Sunday morning. All right, so we're putting our dark brown for yellow vehicles in one of our little trays there. All right, we are going to go and get one of the brushes. Let's see, we'll use this guy today. We're going to dip it in. We're going to run it across the top. And you can see as we're running across the top, some of it's running down the ribs, which is good. That'll get you the grime that's in that runs down in the panels sometimes. Okay. I'm going to bring some down. Go back with a dry, wider brush and blend that in. And this is going to represent the grime that's coming down from the roof, down the side of the car. Remember, gravity takes effect from stuff that's coming off the roof. Just give a little blend with one of our sponges. Not much, just a little bit. Anyway, I'm looking forward to the show. Like I said, I missed it last year, so unfortunately, a bunch of the people I hang out with are not going to be up there this year. Various reasons. So it's going to be a little strange. And pretty much almost be on my own. I think my friend Dave Ramos is going to be there, and that's going to be it. We have a crowd of guys that go to the student prints on. Yeah, there's a show. You better remember, Ray. Otherwise, your boot's going to be empty. And yeah, so we just did that little bit, and there we go. And we're going to move to the end, one of the ends here. Same thing. So just as a reminder, if you're just joining us for the first time, this is something that we repeat almost every week when we're doing our weathering. When we get to the part where we're doing, excuse me, where we're doing our grime and stuff, we always start one side of the car, get that going, and then move on to the end, and then move on to the next side, then the next side, and then the roof. This way, by the time you get back to the first side you started, it's not wet, but it's tacky. We want it to be tacky to have some of the great grime pigments to be able to adhere. So, so we're going on to the end here. Dip our brush, go across the top, and then bring some down random. Get it in the brake wheel there. Sorry guys, I added a camera there. All right, and because these are, you be there, Bobby? Awesome. Are you staying at the Sheridan? All right, we gotta bring some of this down. Because there's horizontal here, you want some of that to build up on the tops of the horizontals here. Awesome, Bobby. All right, I'm at the Sheridan too, so. Okay. Hey, John. Good to see you. All right. Let's get our wider brush. Blend some of that in. All right. Good so far. Going to move on. And this is the part that goes quick. Yeah, when I'm doing my weathering clinics, this is usually no-tell motel. Chicopee. Chicopee, the gem of Massachusetts, of all towns. So when I'm doing my weathering clinics at the RPMs, this is pretty much what we do. We don't get into because of time restraints, get into doing the fades too much. I will talk about fades, but most of the time I'm just teaching this technique of doing these quick griming jobs. So we're bringing the top down to the bottom again. Build up on these horizontal ribs of the door there. Again, we're going for something that's subtle, nothing too drastic. I might give a little bit more down here. Oh, that's a little heavy. Dry that off. Where's the other brush? Here we go. Yeah, I can blend some of this in. Yeah, it's usually about, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. It's usually 6 or 7 of us that hang out together. We stay at the same hotel. We go out to eat downtown Springfield and stuff, hang out. And I think it's just 2 of us. You know, we all had, you know, adding Bobby this year. Well, Bobby's, you've been with us before, yeah. Bobby, we're doing the Student Prince on Saturday night again if you want to go. But, you know, this year, my buddies who have the table, they backed out because my one friend, Tom Callan, who I greatly love as a friend, and he's been very good to us through the years. He owns the table for Shortline Hobbies, and he's having some health issues from what I understand. I'm not exactly sure. I'm going to give him a call later on. But his doctor doesn't want him to travel because he has to come out from Reno. So he's not going to be there. His partner's not going to be there. 2 of my friends have a deadline to meet for an operating weekend that's coming up around here in New Jersey in April. They need to get their railroads ready, so they are not going to be at Springfield spending money. They're going to be home working on the layouts, from what I understand. So it's going to be a little different this year. But still be fun, though. I'm going to go hang out with Ray a little bit at his table till he kicks me out, and then be hanging out with the NERPM guys, because usually they're neighbors of ours when we have the tables usually together, and there are a whole bunch of my buddies there, you know, Dave Owens and Fran Richards, a couple other great guys. So we'll have a good time. So if you're looking for me, if you want to meet up or whatever, you know, send me a DM during the show. Because I'm not exactly sure where I'm going to be. If the Shortline was going to have their table, I'm normally with Shortline, hanging out, helping them sell whatever they're selling. So I'm going to be out and about a little bit different this year. So, all right, so we took the sponge to that. So we got a little bit of grime. So we made it back to the front of the car again. All right. And let's just do a little bit on the roof first. All right. We'll stick with this brown for yellow, even though this is a silver roof. I think we'll be all right. See what happens here. Let's run it a little bit down the middle. And you can see the grime wants to kind of go down, capillary action down the ribs here. So to center out. Let's turn the car around. Drag some the other way. And again, very light because we're going to be doing more stuff up here. So I want to take the shine off that silver. And let's blend it a little bit with the sponge. All right, so a very light effect. All right, just give it a little bit of yellowing of the silver, which is good. All right, we're gonna go back to the first side that we started with, this one right here. Let me get up. Just my paper towels here. There they are. And while it's still a little tacky, we want to get some of that road grime. And again, we're not going to go too heavy with that because I want to leave room for our rusting effects. All right, so let's get our powder. We're going to go with the darker Russian earth today. So that's what I poured into this tray. We are going to get this dry brush right here. We are going to dip it in and run a little bit across the bottom and kick some up on the edge there. Knock some of the excess off. Then we just want to kind of drag it up the car a little bit like this. Use the sponge to blend it in. Yeah, that Vortex mixer is getting a lot of work. It's getting rusty. No, actually, it was a little bit of rust. Looks like it leaked out in my paint holder tray. So I got on the bottom of the bottle. I'm going to clean that off later. So, but it's definitely getting a good workout, Ray. Like I said, sometimes because of my little bit of OCD, I'll be sitting here talking to people online, and I just start mixing bottles of paint just for the hell of it. Not that I'm going to open them up or anything. It's just, it's like my new fidget spinner. All right. All right, so we got one side of the car all grimed up. What do you think, Paul? All right, we're going to work on this end here. Same thing. We are going to go a little bit across the bottom. And then we're going to kick up a little bit, just like that. Get the road splatter from the cars in front, kicking up the grime. Okay. Going to the next side here, same thing. Dip our brush, we're gonna go across the bottom. Kick some up on the end. Kick some up on the end there. Bring some up the side of the car. And kind of blend it with the brush, the sponge a little bit. Blow the excess off. So let's just compare it to the other side here. All right, it's not bad. All right, we'll do the last end, same thing. So like I said, this is the fast part. Once you get past the initial fades, this is where everything goes pretty quickly. I think I read it was 8 o'clock is coming on. So, all right, so we have this end done. So you're going all around the car. All right. All right. Let's work on some rust now. All right. For the roof, I am going to use a little bit of the Trax wash rust. Yeah, I know that executive producer should know that stuff. Yeah. All right. We're going to get our Trax wash into the tray here. You can see that's a very dark rust. And I kind of like that. I don't like the lighter rust because, most of the time when you see these cars going, they've been out in the weather for a while. It's mostly the darker rust. We can highlight it with a little bit of the lighter rust pigment here, but we're going to go with the dark for now. All right, so we're going to get our brush that we were using before for a wash. I think I want to start on a roof. We're going to go get some capillary action going down the side there. I'm sorry, I shook the camera, guys. If you ever looked at the cars that have rust on the roof, it's always more in the middle than other places. Yeah, let's blend that a little bit with the other brush. Not going across the whole car, we just want to go spots that we want to concentrate the rust in. All right, let's clean this off. Let's clean this off. Let that dry a little bit. So what you could do is you can actually use this track wash like a pin wash if you wanted to. You can go and dip your brush, and right at the top of a rib, give it a thing like that, and it'll run down the side. All right. And you could do that on random sections here. Let's try one over here. Didn't get enough on the brush there. Let's go a little bit more. All right, so that's running down the side there. Maybe get a little bit along the edge of the car here, especially where it meets up with the door latch there. Do some on the other side. Get a little bit more. You can see it run down the side there. Just take a little bit of that away. Off the door there. I'm going to blend a little bit of that in there. Off the top there. All right. A little touch up with the sponge, just to blend it in a little bit more, so it's not too harsh. Giving away Paul's car. All right. That's news to Paul, right, Paul? All right. Just clean up the inside here a little bit. So you can see now we got a little bit of rust buildup along the top there, just from the wash. All right. All right. Let's do some on the ends here. Again, we want to kind of go along the top a little bit. And maybe get on along the seam here. Maybe some random spots inside. Go back with the brush and blend it a little bit. Clean it up with the sponge. Here we go. A nice build up in there, right? Ends of the car is where all the grime and rust and everything's going to build up. It's exposed to stuff getting kicked up from other cars and stuff. All right, let's go over to this. Same thing on this side. We'll give a couple of random ribs, rust running down the side. Especially the doors on the ends. Okay. Go back with our wider brush. Just work it in a little bit, not too much. Just getting a little bit on the door here. Just want a variation on it. Okay. Whoops, sorry guys. Go back and blend it in a little bit with the sponge. And definitely want to have variation. You don't want to have everything too dark or too light. So some spots we're going to leave alone, some spots we're going to wipe away. Okay. Work on this roof a little bit here. So now it's drying up. Okay. Wipe my hands off. All right. Sorry guys if I'm not keeping up with the chat. Let me just see what's going on here. I got the That's gonna be a lot of shipping for Paul's car. You're gonna ship it to the U.S., right? And he's got the steering wheel on the wrong side of it too, right? Okay. All right, so we have some of the rust wash going on here. Let's see, did we do the other end here? This end here, I think we got to do, right? One more end, and then we will move on. So we'll put some across the top. Bring down some random streaks, especially on the seam here. Go back with the other brush. Take some away. And go in with the sponge. Almost time for a new sponge. All right. Just want to touch up this side a little bit. Okay. Just let those sides dry a little bit. All right, so we're going to work a little bit with some chipping, and I am going to try this out. I've used this on wheels before, and I've used it for a little bit of rusting, but I haven't really tried it out. This is an acrylic. This is not the enamel. So a lot of times you want to have an enamel and acrylic. You want to mix your mediums because, as you can probably, I don't know if you noticed it, but when I put the rust enamel on the side, or especially on the ends, I lost a little bit of my my grime. But I can go back and add that on again if I had to, at least on the ends. But all right, let's put a little bit of this in the tray. All right, this is our ammo, ammo by MIG. This is their Atom line of acrylics. All right, I know how much different it is from their other acrylics. Like this is an acrylic too. All right, but this is their Atom style. I think they use it for cars and stuff. All right, so we got a little bit of that on there. First off, we're going to try and use our sponge, all right? So I took a little piece of this sponge. I bought this at Hobby Lobby. All right, it's artist sponges. All right, we're going to dip it into our rust colored acrylic. We're going to dab a bunch off on the paper towel, and then we'll build up some rust in the corners. Just dab it like that. Get most of it. Thank you, Red Camaro. Appreciate that. So again, I like to use this to build up in the corners. Yeah, I might want a lighter rust. Let's see. Let's take a look at this. We can even do, let's see. Let's give him a little dab of the rust pigment. it's still wet. Yeah, no. Okay. A little bit around the bottom. Give it a little wipe. All right. All right, so we're going to go back with our, I'm going to try this lighter. It's a little bit of lighter old rust here. I want to mix a little bit of that in there too. Okay. We're going to go with our thin paintbrush here. Give it a dip, a dab. And then we're just going to do some light little dots. You can also do some little bit of lines where paint was scratched. Maybe especially like along the door here. Just random. All right. These up here I'm not crazy about. I'll go back and give a little bit of a dab with the sponge. Okay. Let's go around the other side. As you can see, I'm trying to go with a light touch. The side of the car might have been hit, scratched a little bit. All right. Okay, how we doing out there, guys? Okay, red Camaro. I got the paint mixer off of Amazon. Actually, it was gifted to me, but it came from Amazon. And they go for about 30 bucks. Yeah. Thanks, Bob. They go for about 30 bucks. 30 something dollars. And it really, it's so much nicer than just shaking them up or using one of those Badger paint stirrers, you know? So, yeah, I got mixed feelings, Paul. I mean, I kind of like how it's coming out, but it's starting to get a little bit more on the overdone side to me. But we'll see. I might want to take a little bit of this off on this side. I think I went a little too heavy. And being that it's acrylic, I need to use a little bit of rubbing alcohol. So, you know, thinners for acrylic is going to be a little different than your thinner for your enamel. For the enamel, I'll use the odorless thinner. But for our acrylics, I got to use some isopropyl alcohol. So I just want to take a little bit away. So a couple different ways you can do that. We can do that with with a clean piece of sponge. So let's rip a little piece of sponge off of here. I'll dip it in the alcohol and then take some of this away. And you can see that's cleaning it up. So yeah, I think I was a little too heavy on that side there. This side, not so bad. All right, that's better. Okay. Okay, I'm a little happier with that. All right. Okay, let's move to the roof. So we're going to put some of the powder pigment on the roof, and we're going to hit it with some Pigment Fixer. Yeah, Bobby, I mean, I've looked at enough pictures to see, you know, how things should look. I mean, if you're going to copy a certain car, you definitely want to look at a picture. But, you know, I've studied a bunch of pictures before I started doing any rusting or anything on any car, especially Paul's car here. So, you know, you just use your imagination, try to go from memory, and also use some logic. I mean, where would you normally find rust? A lot of times you're going to find rust in the corners. You're going to find it on the ends, along by the door there. You know, definitely on the roof. So, I mean, yeah. All right, so let's go with our, let's see, where's our powder brush here? Is this one? No, this one's got some pigment on it. Not pigment. See, where did I put that brush? Here it is. All right, this is my pigment brush here. So we're going to go with some pigment on the roof here. Right down the center. We add a little bit of the light to it, just in different spots, especially towards out the outer edge of the center rust spot there. Just random. And then we're going to get a clean brush. And we're going to put some Pigment Fixer down the center. Pigment Fixer is going to turn that pigment into paint. It'll dry, and it'll look dry like it does now, but when it dries, it'll be fixed onto there. So, all right, so let's get our fixer. Let's give this a stir. See, where's our clean pipette? Did we lose it? Here it is. Okay. I'm going to put that in that cup over there. Get a little extra out there. And you can actually even add this with the pipette if you wanted to, kind of like when you're doing ballast. You can do that way. Or you can add it with a brush. Let's add what's on with the brush here. And we just want to get that wet. We don't want to brush it. You kind of just want to wet it. And just kind of dab it around. And you can see that turned it to paint. We're going to let that dry some. All right. Let's go back and look at the side of the car again. See if there's anything else I want to do to this. Let me get a clean sponge. Guys hanging in there? I'm not as lively on a Sunday for some reason as I am on a Saturday night. Maybe I'm just still waking up. I don't know. But I want to wipe a little bit more of this away. Oops. And fix that. I'm touching the top of the car while it's still wet. All right. All right. Let's take a break here for a second, guys. All right. Anybody watching football today? I haven't been watching any football because everything's been put on paywall. You want to watch any of the playoff games here in the U.S. for the U.S. football? Yeah, you're hanging in watching me play. There you go. That's what I'm doing. And everything's behind a paywall. So if you want to watch different games, you got to have different subscriptions to stuff, which is kind of stupid. So another reason why I don't watch football too much anymore. Very rarely. I think last year I watched one game and I watched the Super Bowl and that was it. So I'm pretty much going on the same thing. All right, cool. I'm glad you're enjoying it, Rick Camaro. Appreciate it. Appreciate everybody being here on a Sunday. All right. Let's give it an inspection. All right. The main person that I'm worried about, I want it to be happy, is going to be Paul. So we are going to inspect the car. Yeah, Bears and Packers always a good game to watch, yeah. All right, let's go all the way around the car. The ends, the sides. All right. So like some of the chipping I've done. The corners, I can use a little improvement, I think. Door looks nice there. Door looks nice there. And let's give this a chance to dry a little bit more, and we can go back and touch up wherever we think. So, all right, so we're going to move on to the trucks and the wheels. Let me cover this up before I knock it over. All right, so our tried and true method of the wheels is going to be using some kind of a tannish paint. I always like to use this Kursk soil. So we're going to go with the Kursk soil for the side frames. But you can get like a brown. You can even go with a darker. Yeah, enlarge the screen, you can take a look at it. Yeah, you can go with like a dark rust, brownish rust if you wanted to, the side frames. Hey, Devin, it's Amazon. It was gifted to me, but I know it comes. You can get it on Amazon. Um, they're about $30. Well worth it. Oh my God! I was saying, I don't know if you caught it earlier. I was saying, like, sometimes, like, we have like a Zoom call we do every Sunday night with a bunch of friends, and we do modeling. Sometimes I just sit here and I grab random bottles of paint and just stir it. It's part of my OCD, you know. Yeah, a little bit of an OCD I got with that. I just like to play with it. It comes in very handy. I'm very happy with it. Very, very happy with it. All right, so we're going to take this brush here, swipe it off a little bit because it's got some excess. Oh, I get my coffee. It went cold today. Yeah, my camera shakes like that, and me from hitting the arm that's holding it. So yeah, have some coffee. It's probably a little cold right now. So yeah, the AK pencils will work as long as you dip them, because again, like I said, they're watercolors. So they work good with that. All right, let's see. Let's get a little bit of the Kursk soil. Let's paint the side frames up. And again, like I said, any tan or brown will work for this. Like I said, the first time I did this Kursk soil was the color that I had on hand, and that's why I use it. And I kind of like it because it gives it like a very light undertone. After you put the pigments on top, it's going to color it up a little darker, but you still have that little bit of lightness going through. So let's give this another dip. All right, clean that off. I'm going to go with our paint brush that we've been using for the powders, for the pigments. We're going to get some of our Russian earth. And we're going to dab that onto the side frame, into the wet paint. So I've explained in the past, but I know we have new people here. What this does, putting this pigment on here and just dabbing it on, gives it some texture. All right. If you notice the side frames of a truck on a car, on a freight car, it has that texture to it. A little bit of like rust and dirt and grime that all built up on it. And that's what we're going for here. So it's not just a straight paint look. It's actually some paint with texture. And I'll get this. On there. Blow off the excess. All right, so you can see the difference between the shiny plastic and the textured with the paint. Okay. And we'll go in with a little bit of rust just to highlight the springs a little bit. All right. I don't normally do that, Paul. I'm too worried about affecting the functionality of the couplers, so I usually don't. I don't know if you do it on your cars, but I usually don't. So, okay. Let's take a look up here. All right, I'm going to clean this up a little bit along the top before I go to the other side. All right, let's move to the other side. All right, same thing. We're going to get our Kursk soil. Give the side frames a paint so we can hold our pigment. All right. Clean that off. All right, go in with our pigments again. So we'll start with the Russian Earth for the side frames. Blow off the excess. Get a little bit of rust in there. Into the springs. All right. Here we go. Let's cover up our Kursk soil again before we knock it over. Last thing we're going to do is do our wheels. So let me get a small brush, one of my inexpensive small brushes. Actually, we're going to get the, I like to use these for putting the rust on the wheels. A little disposable brushes here. Okay, we're going to add some more of this old rust. This is what I like to use on the wheels. Ah, Dennis is here. Hi, Dennis. Thanks for joining in. Glad to see you. Glad you're here. All right, so let's get some of this, stir it up. So all I'll do for this is I'm going to get the wheel. I don't know if you guys can see it. Thank you, Dennis. Appreciate it. Let me get some more light on there. Just going to put that in there and roll it. All right. Next wheel. Get it in there and roll it. Don't have to pop the wheels out or anything. Flip the car over to the other side. Hopefully, guys, we'll be back on Saturday night next week, regular time, 9 o'clock. In the meantime, I don't know if you guys have caught that Steve has started up a channel, BN Iron Road Railroad. And we were talking a little bit Saturday, because I caught his stream Saturday night. Well, actually, it was last night, right? And we're going to try and work kind of like how Paul, Stamp, and Dennis do. I'll go on at 9 o'clock, and Steve's going to come on right after me. Steve's been doing a lot of building stuff and diorama, and it's been really good. If you ever caught any of his, when he posts on some of the pages, like Friends of the Around the Layout, some of his building dioramas have been really, really nice looking. Grungy back alley stuff. And he's been working with, I think, so what, ITLA buildings lately, Steve? Yeah. Yeah, I mean, it's just kind of how it's working out, Dennis. You know, Steve was kind of coming on after me anyway, so we're just kind of making it official, I guess. So his channel is BN Iron Road Railroad. You can look it up. Maybe Steve can throw a link in the chat here for you. All right. Really cool stuff Steve's been doing. So it's you know, the difference, not everybody doing weathering. He's actually doing some modeling, especially building modeling. All right. All right. So let's take a look at the top. I've kind of touched the top of this car a little bit, a few times by accident. I kind of want to just kind of blend in some of the stuff and dry it up a little bit. And it might add a little bit more pigment to the top. I'm just dragging a little bit out to the edges here too. All right, I'm gonna let that dry. And let's take a look at the car, go all the way around. Ultimately, my buddy Paul here has got to be the one that's happy with it. So let's give it a look once around. Looks like the car's been out in the wild for a while, especially up in the backwoods of Maine up there where it's Allagash country. We have our ends. This side and the last end, this end. Our trucks and our wheels. All right, guys, I don't know what you think about it. What do you think about it? I am, like always, I'm gonna let the car sit for a couple days. You think it's your best work? I appreciate that, Paul. I'm glad you like it. we are always our own worst critic with certain things. I like the car. Um, the build date on the car was 79, July of 79. Thank you, Dennis. Appreciate it. July of 79. Paul, you're what, in the 80s? 80s or 90s? Paul's pretty, actually, Paul's kind of modern, a little more modern, right, Paul? The year before your build date, huh? Right, yeah. Well, I tell you what, Bobby, I spend your money and you buy the car and I'll weather one for you, all right? 80, all right. Yeah. Because Bobby, you're one of my buddies. You're one of my good friends. So, I don't mind. I'll do a car up for you. I'll put it on the live feed too. Thank you guys. I appreciate that. This roof will look better once it's dried. Sides of the cars and stuff. I guess this is good. I'm gonna call it done. Again, like I said, I'm gonna look at it a couple days down the road, and I can clean it up a little bit if I need to, or add to it a little bit. And if I do that, I will let you guys know what I've done. All right, maybe in a little short or something like that. But in the meantime, I don't know if you're gonna go watch some football. If you're not, however you're gonna spend your Sunday afternoon, I hope you spend it with family and friends or whatever, and have a great time. And I know I have to go take my mother-in-law food shopping, so that's going to happen after this. So it's not going to be the best of days, but yeah, she's up there in age, and you try to help your family out when they can't help themselves anymore. So in front of Photoshop, yeah. So Ray, I'm gonna have to do some double duty again tonight while I'm on the Zoom call and watch the live feed from you guys all around the layout. So guys, coming up tonight, you have aroundthelayout.com, Around the Layout podcast. Ray's going live. I forget who's your guest tonight, Ray? I forget, but it's going to be good. So I'll be on my Zoom call with my friends, and thank you, Paul. Thank you, Paul. Appreciate that. And I'll also be watching on the side Ray's live stream. So anyway, guys, have a great Scott Thornton. That's right. I had a brain fart. I knew Scott and I couldn't remember Scott's last name. Scott Thornton. Is there a giveaway tonight too, Ray, or is that a different night? Because I know sometimes it pays to be a contributing member to the Around the Layout podcast, the operating crew, for $3 a month. Every month, I know Ray gives away a prize that's been donated from one of the manufacturers. I don't know if it's tonight or not, but I know. Thank you, Steve. Appreciate it. But it's one of the. Oh, okay, so you got a giveaway from Tully Models. That's going to be a good one. All right, Ray, put my name on the wheel, a few extra times, please, so I can use that when we went into the Tully Model stuff. So, but I'll be looking forward to seeing that tonight too. So, all right, guys, as always, thank you for signing in, for joining up on the live feed. If you happen to be watching later, if you didn't catch the live feed, please always give me a thumbs up and a like. And if you're not subscribed, please subscribe. We've grown a lot in subscriptions over the past month or two, and it's been great. I really appreciate it. Don't forget, we'll be on again Saturday night at 9 o'clock. Steve will be on right after me on Saturday night, and Steve's been doing like pop-up live streams here and there. So if you make sure you subscribe to Steve's channel and put on a notification button. I haven't done that, so I never know when Steve's going to be on. So, but I like watching what he's doing. So I just happened to catch him last night. But if you put on a notification button, you will be notified when he goes live. All right, and same thing with my live feed. If you can't remember Saturday night at 9 o'clock, if you have the notification on, you'll be reminded that I'm on. So anyway, guys, thanks again, and we will catch you on Saturday Night Live Weathering with me, Ted DiOrio. Catch you later. Bye.